What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. I've been waiting to tell this story for months, and there's only one reason that I can finally tell this story. I quit my job! I have been working 3 jobs for the last month. One of those jobs I've been working for about 7 months, and when I started, it was pretty okay. It was a job that I could get hired quickly, make money quickly, whatever. And I was working for a sandwich shop, and I won't say the name of it, but let's just say it wasn't Subway or Jersey Mike's. I started working for this sandwich shop and immediately it was a problem because I was never properly trained, everything was done incorrectly, but I stayed because I needed a job. The first problem I had was one day we were putting in all our tips and miles because I was a delivery driver. I was a delivery driver, and at the end of every shift you have to put in your miles and your tips so that you can get your money. Now I don't know if this was a problem with my manager, that specific store, or the system. Apparently there would be certain tips and checks that we wouldn't get the money from, so basically it was stealing tips from us. I know that it happened to me multiple times, but I only realized what was going on one time, and I lost my so whatever, I let it go, they fixed it. The next one was a huge problem for me. So if you guys have been watching me for a while or you know me personally, you know that I have autoimmune issues. I get sick very, very easily, and I stay sick for quite a few weeks. So one day I was throwing up so bad I was having to pull over while I was delivering to throw up and then continue my delivery. I let my manager know before I went in, hey, I'm throwing up, I can't come in and I can't find anybody to cover my shift. He told me to go ahead and come in anyway and that they'd get me out as soon as they could. So I was there for like 3 hours, throwing up the whole time I was there, infecting people because I was working with food, and I finally told my manager, hey, I have to leave. She told me to contact other coworkers, see if somebody could come in for me, and I asked her if I could have the phone numbers because at that point I'd probably been only working there for about a month and I didn't have a way to contact anyone. When I asked her that, she told me to just go ahead and go home. So I clocked out and I got all my stuff, and she called me to the back of the store. She had written me up for leaving work when she told me to leave. That just really pissed me off because you told me to leave. I asked you for phone numbers and you told me to leave. So why was I written up for that? A few months later, I was delivering to a car dealership and I got injured while working. I got hit on the head by one of those big garage doors. So I got a concussion and I was written out of work for probably like 4 or 5 days, and I let my general manager know, here's the doctor's note, I can't come in, I have a concussion. He said that was fine, but the manager for one of the stores that I was supposed to be working at that night decided that it wasn't fine and I was no longer allowed to work there, because when I texted him the next week about my schedule, he said that he wasn't putting me back on it because I was a no-call, no-show, even though my general manager knew and was supposed to tell all the managers that I had a concussion and could not come in, because they told me I still should have gotten my shift covered. So they wanted me to be sitting on my phone, texting, calling, and posting on our app to try and find someone to take my shift. Now, I don't know if you know anything about concussions, but you're not supposed to be on electronics. So I went to another store. I finally reached my breaking point with this store a couple days ago and quit, and that's why I'm making this video. A new manager started probably 2 weeks ago. I have never worked with her. The first night I was supposed to work with her, I was throwing up, I was really sick, and I was looking for somebody to cover my shift, but I couldn't find anybody to cover it. So I told her if I couldn't find anyone to cover it, I'd come in myself. Now she told me I couldn't come in because I was sick, so I said okay. I couldn't find anyone to cover my shift, so I didn't go in because I was told I couldn't. Apparently, she didn't like me because of that. A few days later, I had another shift there, but I got really sick, I ate some bad food or something, and I was throwing up, so I posted on our app to see if anybody could take my shift. The next morning, I was fine, so I took it away so that I could come in for my shift. I went to work at my other job that morning, and I got a call about 1:30, 2 o'clock that my grandmother was in the hospital and me and my mom needed to go to Fayetteville, which is 3 hours from where I live. So I left my other job early, got in the car, and went to Fayetteville, and I texted my manager and posted on our app that somebody really had to take my shift because I couldn't come in, my grandmother was in the hospital. And that manager texted me back, and this texted me, are you also throwing up too still? No, I'm not. I had food poisoning, but thank you for the insinuation that I'm lying about my grandmother being in the hospital to get out of work. So I explained to her, no, I had food poisoning. I was fine, so I took the post down so I could come in, and then I got a call about my grandmother. I couldn't find anyone to cover my shift, so I was calling other stores to see if they could send one of their drivers. I explained the situation, and one of the stores said they would send a driver. However, apparently they sent their only driver, which I didn't know was not my fault and was a dumb idea. And had they told me they only had one driver, I would have called a different store. So apparently their general manager called my manager, cussing her out, yelling at her because she took their only driver. So she sent him back to the store and called me and told me I needed to find another driver. I said, okay, I'll try. I said, why did they send their only driver? And she said, because they don't understand that this happens all the time. I've had 2 shifts with you, one where I was sick and one where I had a family emergency. None of those being my decision to have happen. I can't control either of those things. So she called me and said, I'm trying to run a business. The other day you were sick, now it's your grandmother. And I said, you know what? You don't have to worry about it anymore. I quit. After that, I took a screenshot of all the messages that we had between each other, and I took a screenshot of all my posts to show that I was looking for someone to cover my shift, the text where I was told I can't come in if I'm throwing up, and then I messaged the owner because in North Carolina, every single one of these businesses is independently owned. However, everywhere else they're corporate. So I messaged the owner on Facebook, explained the situation, and said also, because this manager thinks I'm lying about my grandmother being in the hospital, here's a picture of her in the hospital. And now, here we are making this video because that job doesn't give a flying about their employees, and 90% of the jobs that most people have don't. Do not put your health, your mental health, or anything else in your life that's important to you behind a job that doesn't give a shit about you and won't pay you what you actually deserve. Take care of yourself and don't work for this company because they suck. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure to turn on my post notifications because my Stanley Hotel series is out. Here's the first video, here's the second video. I've been working so hard on this series and I'm so excited to share it with you guys, and I really hope you guys dig it because I want to do a lot more of this stuff on my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye.